Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Qatar suspends role as mediator between Israel and Hamas, cites lack of good faith. Donald Trump wins all 7 swing states, rules out former cabinet members Mike Pompeo, Nikki Haley in his administration. And in cricket, India set to clash with South Africa in the second T20 International. Qatar has suspended its role as a key mediator for a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal. Qatar's foreign ministry in a statement on Saturday said it would resume its role when Hamas and Israel show their willingness to negotiate. The Gulf country has been working alongside the United States and Egypt for months to broker a ceasefire in a year-long conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. The latest round of talks in mid-October failed to produce a deal, with Hamas rejecting a short-term ceasefire proposal. Disagreements have centered on the long-term future of Hamas and Israel's presence in Gaza. Israeli protesters expressed concern for hostages in Gaza after Qatar said it was pulling back as a key mediator for a ceasefire that would help bring the captives home. Thousands of people rallied in Tel Aviv holding signs reading 400, the number of days since the hostages were taken when Hamas attacked southern Israel on October 7 last year. Protesters also demanded that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu secure a deal to release the hostages held by Hamas.
Qatar withdrawing for us is a chaos because they were the lead connection to the Hamas leadership in Qatar and the Hamas leadership in Gaza. And now without them, we don't know who's going to be in charge of the threat connection, if it's going to be the Turkish, if it's going to be the Egyptian, if it's going to be anyone else. But a chaos and another delay in hostage release will be very bad for us, and we don't know who's going to talk to them.
US warplanes launched airstrikes on Iran-backed Houthi rebels' advanced weapons storage facilities in Yemen on Saturday night. According to the Pentagon, the facilities contained various weapons used to target military and civilian vessels navigating international waters throughout the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. Earlier, a Houthi-run television network reported 3 American and British raids that targeted capital Sana'a. The Houthis have been attacking ships in the Red Sea, disrupting global maritime trade. They claim they have been targeting Israel-linked vessels. The Israeli military chief Herzi Halevi vowed to continue operations till all hostages are rescued. He made the remarks as he met army commanders in Jabalia in northern Gaza Strip.
From this position of power, we are supporting our civilians who are held hostages and soldiers who are prepared to fight with tremendous determination, as well as pay a price to bring them home. We are not stopping or slowing down. This is to bring back the hostages, to ensure security for the surrounding communities.
Shifting focus, US President-elect Donald Trump has won the election in Arizona, defeating his Democratic rival Kamala Harris in all 7 battleground states. The 7 battleground states in this election cycle were Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. The victory in Arizona took Trump's electoral college tally to 312 against 226 of Vice President Harris. Arizona holds 11 electoral college votes. In 2020, President Joe Biden became the first Democrat to win Arizona since Bill Clinton in 1996. Trump has now flipped it back. The Republican Party has regained control of the Senate and is all set to retain a majority of House Representatives. Currently, the party has 52 seats in the Senate and the Democrats have 47. In the House, Republicans have so far won 216 seats against 209 of the Democrats. The majority mark is 218. Republicans are confident that they will get the necessary number of seats to cross the halfway mark. Donald Trump announced on Saturday that former Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley or former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo won't be part of his second administration. In a social media post, Trump expressed his gratitude for their past contributions and service to the nation, noting that he enjoyed working with both of them. Haley, who served as U.S. ambassador to the United Nations during Trump's term, had previously endorsed him for re-election, despite having been a vocal critique of his during the Republican primaries. Pompeo, meanwhile, held the position of CIA director under Trump before becoming Secretary of State. U.S. President Joe Biden will meet with President-elect Donald Trump at the White House on Wednesday after the U.S. leader pledged an orderly transfer of power back to Republican he beat in elections just 4 years ago. A White House statement said Biden and Trump would meet in the Oval Office at 11 a.m. at the outgoing president's invitation. Such a post-election meeting is traditional between the outgoing president and the incoming president. However, Trump, a Republican, did not host Biden, a Democrat, for such a meeting after he lost the election in 2020. Meanwhile, Trump announced the formation of an inaugural committee which would plan and celebrate his inauguration on January 20th, 2025. Trump secured a second term in the White House after winning the U.S. presidential election on November 5th, marking a significant comeback following his loss to President Joe Biden in the 2020 election. The inauguration is organized by the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies and will include events such as swearing-in ceremony, inaugural address, and the pass-in review. Inauguration Day occurs every 4 years on January 20th or January 21st if January 20th falls on Sunday at the U.S. Capitol Building in Washington, D.C. The American President-elect Donald Trump's proposed tariffs on Chinese goods could trigger factory relocations across Asia, but experts warn a full trade war between the US and China would destabilize, in fact, global markets, with Asia bearing the brunt. Trump has promised up to 60% tariffs on Chinese imports to address the trade imbalance, though analysts question whether he'll stick to this figure. A trade slowdown could also affect Southeast Asia, where economies are heavily linked to China's production chains. Countries like Indonesia, Vietnam, and the Philippines could see reduced exports to the US, as Trump also plans to raise import duties on all foreign goods by 10 to 20%. How much impact this will have depends on each country's reliance on US exports. Peel Region Police have arrested one more person in connection with a violent altercation that occurred at Hindu Temple in Brampton, Canada on November 3rd. According to an official statement from Peel Region Police, investigators from 21 Division Criminal Investigations Bureau and Strategic Investigation Team have arrested and charged another individual involved in the violent demonstration at Brampton Mandir. As per the statement, police began investigating several offences that occurred during the demonstration, many of which were captured on video, including individuals using flags and sticks to assault people. Investigators continue to analyze hundreds of videos of the incidents and are working to identify additional suspects involved in criminality and anticipate further arrests. Russia downed 25 Ukrainian drones targeting Moscow in one of the largest attacks on the capital since the conflict erupted in 2022. Flight services were temporarily halted due to the drone strike. The attack came as Russia hosts diplomats and top officials from around 50 African countries in the Black Sea resort of Sochi for a ministerial conference. EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell has reassured Ukraine of Europe's unwavering support days after Donald Trump's election win cast uncertainty over its efforts. Borrell, the first top EU official to visit Kyiv since Trump's win, said that the purpose of his visit was to stress EU support for Ukraine against Russia. So far, European Union has already provided $131 billion in military and financial support to Ukraine and trained about 60,000 Ukrainian soldiers. Support from Western allies has been key to Ukraine's ability to defend itself against Russia's much larger and better equipped enemy.
The clear purpose of this visit is to stress the European Union support to Ukraine. This support remains unwavering. This support is absolutely needed for you to continue defending yourself against Russia's aggression.
Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk will meet France's President, Britain's Prime Minister and head of NATO, and leaders of Nordic and Baltic states soon to discuss transatlantic cooperation and the war in Ukraine. The future of aid to Ukraine is among the major questions facing the European Union after Donald Trump's US election victory.
In the coming days, we will very intensely coordinate cooperation with countries that have a very similar view on the geopolitical and transatlantic situation and situation in Ukraine. We can shortly expect a visit of the President of France in Warsaw, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, or my visit to London. We are still discussing this.
Russian President Vladimir Putin on Saturday signed a decree that turned treaty on the country's strategic partnership with North Korea involving a mutual defense provision into law. The accord, announced by Russian President and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in June after a summit in Pyongyang, calls on each side to come to the other's aid in case of an armed attack. The decree making the partnership law appear on an official website outlining legislative procedures. The treaty was ratified by Russia's parliament. The treaty further deepens relations between Moscow and Pyongyang. Reports from Ukraine, South Korea and US say North Korea has supplied Russia with weaponry. Mauritius began voting on Sunday in a close-fought election race that has been clouded by a wiretapping scandal in a nation usually touted as one of Africa's most stable and prosperous democracies. Campaigning has been tense and police have been deployed at polling stations to ensure security. Parties have promised to tackle a cost of living crisis in the Indian Ocean archipelago. The legislative poll in the country follows a historic agreement last month that saw Britain cede sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius following a long-running dispute. In response to the scandal, the authorities on November 1st announced a social media ban until after the election, but following an uproar from the opposition and local media, the decision was called off within 24 hours. The battle for control of the 70-seat National Assembly is being played out between two main blocs, Jugnaut's militant socialist movement and its allies, and the Alliance of Change led by former Prime Minister Naveen Ramgoolam. Voting will close at 1400 GMT and results are expected on Monday. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Bangladesh Army arrests workers of Awami League Party ahead of Dhaka protest planned for today. And BJP releases its poll manifesto for upcoming Maharashtra Assembly elections.
As our ecosystems change, we not only need to amplify our efforts to save them, but we also need to adapt our lives.
Today, everything grows here. At an altitude of 5,000 meters, we grow mushrooms, strawberries, watermelon, and tomatoes. It's been made possible by the introduction of technology.
It's like with stocks. You diversify your portfolio to minimize risk. That's what we're trying to do with the mixed forest, too.
People's mindset is changing in favor of electric mobility, and I see huge success in the future as well.
Same eelgrass is one of the most important elements in the ecosystem along the Baltic Sea coast. It produces oxygen and provides habitat for smaller fish.
And in Bangladesh, tensions are running high as the Awami League Party announced its first street program since August 5, marking Noor Hussain Day at Shahid Noor Hussain Square in Dhaka on Sunday. The event has sparked counter rallies by the anti-discrimination student movement at the same location. The Bangladesh Army has arrested hundreds of workers and supporters of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's Awami League Party in a major crackdown ahead of their planned protest against the interim government led by Muhammad Yunus. Dhaka has turned into a fortress with 191 platoons of the border guard Bangladesh deployed across the city and other areas ahead of the protest. Authorities have denied permission for the Awami League to hold the demonstration. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is holding back-to-back rallies in poll-bound Jharkhand. Addressing a rally in Bokaro, PM Modi said that the government led by Chief Minister Hemant Soren looted Jharkhand. Polls in the state will be held in two phases from 13th and 20th of November.
केंद्र में भाजपा एनडीए सरकार बनी तो 10 साल में हमने 3 लाख करोड़ रुपए से अधिक झारखंड को दिया। हमने ये ज्यादा पैसा क्यों भेजा भाई? क्योंकि झारखंड हमने बनाया है तो हम ही तो संवारेंगे।
India's Minister of State for Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Dr. Jitendra Singh, announced the successful conclusion of Special Campaign 4.0 implementation phase on October 31st this year. It was India's largest campaign for institutionalizing Swachhata and reducing pendency in government offices and has witnessed many best practices and milestones. The campaign covered over 5.97 lakh offices in remotest parts of India. The special campaigns conducted by government from 2021-24 have generated a revenue of rupees 2,364 crores through disposal of scrap. Special campaign 4.0 generated revenues of more than rupees 650 crore in the October 2nd 31, 2024 period. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also lauded the efforts. Taking to microblogging site X, PM said, and I quote, "Commendable. By focusing on efficient management and proactive action, this effort has attained great results. It shows how collective efforts can lead to sustainable results, promoting both cleanliness and economic prudence." Vice President of India Jagdeep Dhankar presided over the culmination of Silver Jubilee celebrations of Maharaja Agrasen Technical Education Society at Vigyan Bhavan in the national capital on Sunday. The Vice President precisely noted the importance of sustaining nation's fiscal credibility. Remembering the times when India's foreign exchange was dwindling around $1 billion, he praised the nation's progress of bringing a 700% surge. India's foreign exchange reserves are now standing at $682.130 billion.
Our foreign exchange was dwindling around $1 billion. ये हालात थे. Boys and girls, you are lucky. Our foreign exchange reserve today is over $700 billion. 700 times.
India's Home Minister Amit Shah launched BJP's manifesto for the upcoming Maharashtra Assembly elections in the western Indian city of Mumbai today. Maharashtra Deputy CM Devendra Fadnavis, State BJP Chief Chandrasekhar Bawankule, Union Minister Piyush Goyal and other leaders of the party were also present on the occasion. The Maharashtra Assembly elections will take place on November 20th with the counting of votes for all 288 constituencies set for November 23rd. Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi organized its 17th edition of Open House, an annual event dedicated to sharing the institute's latest research and innovations with school and college students. This year's event offered a unique opportunity for visitors to witness over 200 groundbreaking research projects through live demonstrations, presentations. Here's a report.
The open house at Indian Institute of Technology featured specialized stalls including notable projects designed for defense personnel in extreme thermal environments, as well as projects on galaxy monitoring, which drew considerable attention from the attendees. This exhibition highlighted the vast potential of scientific research in advancing both national security and space exploration.
The textile recycling is mandatory in today's scenario. So in this work, we have taken the post-consumer denim jeans. First we sanitize them and then we cut into these small fabric clippings. Then these small fabric clippings are mechanically recycled to get its constituent fibers. Then after getting those recycled fibers, we have produced these thermal liners. So these thermal liners are responsible for providing us warmth in the cold weather clothing. The project of ours is mapping our galaxy from within is basically using hydrogen emissions, 21 centimeter emissions. So we have built our own horn antenna for that, and using that emissions, we are mapping our galaxy. So it's kind of proving our galaxy that it has a spiral structure.
We are physicists and we want to verify everything. So people just said that it's a spiral, so we want to see it for ourselves, right? So we made this specifically for that 21 centimeter emission, and it gets amplified and gets run in the code to show a spectrum. So from that spectrum we can get where the clouds are located, at what velocities the hydrogen clouds are moving in our galaxy.
The event included a dedicated section for the exhibition and demonstration of research projects where IIT Delhi students and researchers engaged with visitors, explaining complex concepts in accessible ways to inspire curiosity and innovation among young minds.
All of us we know that Chandrayaan, ISRO, DRDO, they are doing this thing, but IIT plays a very crucial role in everything. So mostly IIT is an academic institute, but at the same time IIT is the leader in research in India. So whatever we see, wherever it is, whether the DRDO, ISRO, IIT, in any kind of organization, you will see very big contribution of IIT, all of the IITs. So in IIT Delhi, the idea is that one day in a year we will open the door to everyone. Everybody will come and see that what we are doing in the lab, what kind of exciting research we are doing, and how we are helping in the nation building.
Attendees were captivated by the technological creativity on display, reaffirming Indian Institute of Technology Delhi's role as a hub for transformative research and intellectual growth. Kriti Vadera's report for DD India.
Today marks the grand opening of the 73rd All India Police Athletics Cluster Championship 2024-25 held in New Delhi. The prestigious event was inaugurated by the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, V.K. Saxena. This championship brings together 1,123 police personnel athletes from 39 teams representing 25 states and 4 union territories, showcasing their athletic skills, team spirit, and inspiring display of dedication and fitness by nation's protectors.
खेल हमेशा एक टीम वर्क होता है, भले ही आप एकल प्रतियोगिता में भाग ले रहे हों, आपके पीछे कई लोगों की मेहनत जुड़ी हुई होती है। इसीलिए दृढ़ निश्चय और विश्वास के साथ प्रतियोगिता में हिस्सा लें और हार से निराश न हो।
Let's take a look at other stories making news today. The Ministry of Tribal Affairs along with the Tribal Cooperative Marketing Federation of India organized an 8-day-long National Tribal Festival to celebrate and promote the craft, cuisine and culture of the Adivasi community. Several tribal artisans, weavers expressed their gratitude to Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the initiatives. Over 200 artisans and artists are participating in the festival from across the country. India's world-famous Pushkar Fair began on Saturday with the flag-hoisting ceremony in Ajmer city. Hundreds of domestic and foreign tourists have reached to witness this fair, which will continue till November 15th. Indian Navy, along with Namaha Academy, organized Namaha Marathon in Visakhapatnam. The event aimed to promote inclusivity, raise awareness about the rights of people with intellectual disabilities and celebrate their achievements in the world of sports. Marathon brought together people from all walks of life, from young children to adults, to run in support of the message of empowerment for individuals with intellectual disabilities. And in sports, the Young Indian Brigade will once again be in action when they clash against South Africa in the second T20 International of 4-match series on Sunday. Sanju Samson will look to continue his domination of the bowlers, but India need more stability in the top order during their clash with South Africa in the match, with an aim to extend their superior run in the shortest format. Samson's stunning 107 off 50 balls powered India to a commanding 61-run victory in the series opener, but the lack of runs from other key batters remains a concern for the visitors. Bangladesh beat Afghanistan by 68 runs in the second one-day international to level the 3-match series 1-1 at Sharjah Stadium on Saturday, securing their maiden win at the venue. Bangladesh posted a competitive total of 252 for 7 with the help of composed 76 from captain Najmul Hossain Shanto. The game was also a must-win for Bangladesh to keep their series hopes alive after a 92-run defeat in the first match. Meanwhile, for Afghanistan, left-arm spinner Kharote claimed 3 for 28, effectively disrupting Bangladesh's lower middle order. The third ODI of the series will take place on Monday at the same venue. Coco Gauff became the youngest player to win the World Tennis Finals since Maria Sharapova in 2004, showing supreme determination to beat China's Zhang Qinwen in 3 hours. The 20-year-old is also the first American champion since Serena Williams 10 years ago. Gauff stormed to a 6-0 lead in the final set tiebreak for 6 championship points as she eased to victory. Olympic gold medalist and 7th seed Zhang, who was making her WTA Finals debut, won the first set in just under an hour. Saving all 5 break points she faced to keep Gauff at bay. However, the American came back from 3-1 down to take the second set. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.